Welcome to an exploration of the human mind, where we delve into the ironies of our behavior. Today, we journey through 10 psychological ironies that shape our actions and define our personalities. Psychological ironies, these fascinating paradoxes, are everywhere in our behavior. They're like riddles, hiding in plain sight, waiting to be solved. They're the contradictions that make us human, the traits that often seem at odds with each other, yet they tell a deeper story about who we are. Take, for example, someone who's always seeking validation, or an individual exuding overconfidence. These are more than just random quirks. They're windows into the rich, complex tapestry of our psyche. They carry profound meanings, reflecting our fears, aspirations, and the intricate dance between our conscious and subconscious minds. So, let's dive in. Let's unravel these paradoxes, these psychological ironies that are so deeply woven into the fabric of our being. Get ready to uncover the hidden truths of our behavior. Are you ready to question what you thought you knew about yourself? Irony 1, the need for constant validation, and irony 2, overconfidence. Two sides of the same coin, don't you think? It's a fascinating dance of human behavior, where one often leads to the other. Imagine this. A person seeks constant approval from others, a nod of the head, a compliment, a pat on the back. This need for validation stems from an inherent human desire to be accepted. But what happens when this need spirals out of control? Enter overconfidence. It's like a protective shell, a facade that shields us from the fear of inadequacy. It's a defense mechanism, a way to cope with the terrifying thought of not being good enough. After all, if you're constantly applauded, you must be doing something right? But here's the catch. Overconfidence can often blind us to our shortcomings, preventing growth and learning. So remember, confidence is great, but overconfidence may be a mask for our insecurities. Moving on to irony 3, excessive positivity, and irony 4, frequent selfies. Ever notice the happiest people posting the most selfies? There's a curious paradox at play here. On one hand, we have excessive positivity. People who are constantly upbeat, always projecting an image of perfect happiness. On the surface, it seems like they've got it all figured out, but here's the twist. This outward show of relentless positivity can sometimes be a disguise, a mask to hide their inner turmoil or dissatisfaction. Now, let's talk about those frequent selfies. They're not just about showcasing a great hair day or the perfect cup of coffee. They often reflect a deeper desire to appear flawless, an intense fear of being seen as imperfect. It's like a constant audition for acceptance, a silent plea for validation. So next time you see a stream of perfect selfies, remember they might be telling a different story. Do you know someone who's always busy, yet their home is spotless? Welcome to irony 4, obsessive cleanliness, and irony 6, constant busyness. Let's delve into the world of obsessive cleanliness first. It's not just about having a tidy home, it's about the need for control. The irony here is that while people think they're controlling their environment, what they're really doing is avoiding their deeper issues. It's a diversion, a smokescreen, if you will. Now let's talk about those who are constantly busy. This is another form of escapism. Here, people are filling their time to avoid confronting personal problems. It's easier to say, "I'm too busy," than to face the music. The irony? In their quest to avoid problems, they end up creating more stress for themselves. So when life gets too busy, it might be time to slow down and face the music. Ever met someone who thinks they're superior, yet they're always putting things off? That takes us to irony 7, superiority complex, and irony 8, chronic procrastination. Let's dive into the paradox of the superiority complex and chronic procrastination. These behaviors are often rooted in the same place, fear of failure. Superiority complex, the belief of being superior to others, often masks an underlying insecurity. It's the fear of not living up to one's own high standards, resulting in an overcompensation of self-worth. On the other hand, chronic procrastination is not just laziness. It's the fear of not meeting expectations, which leads to the delay of tasks. Procrastinators often feel that they can't afford to make mistakes, hence they postpone tasks to avoid potential failure. These behaviors highlight our innate human desire for success and our dread of not meeting high standards. But remember, superiority isn't always a sign of competence, and procrastination isn't just laziness. Finally, let's tackle the last two. Irony 9, extreme perfectionism, and irony 10, excessive humility. Now, extreme perfectionism is not about striving for excellence, but an overwhelming fear of making mistakes. It's a relentless pursuit of flawlessness that can be mentally draining. The paradox is, while perfectionists aim to be seen as exceptional, they're often driven by a fear of judgment and failure. On the other hand, we have excessive humility. Humility is no doubt an admirable trait, yet when it tilts towards self-deprecation, it becomes a mask for fear of appearing arrogant or overconfident. It's an irony that while trying to project modesty, individuals may undermine their own worth, driven by fear of overshining others. Both these behaviors, in essence, stem from a common root: the human desire to be seen as flawless and the fear of appearing vain. So if you strive for perfection, remember it's okay to show your flaws. And humility is noble, but don't let it diminish your worth. We've journeyed through the paradoxes of human behavior, uncovering the ironies that define us. From the constant quest for validation to the unshakable overconfidence, we've seen the intricate dance between self-esteem and self-doubt. These ironies, these paradoxes, they are the complexities that make us human. Look into your inner self and seek areas of improvements. So, embrace your contradictions, acknowledge your fears, and continue to grow.